Ain't got no choice but to lace up. Every day is game day. Off my third contract, you still on that same play. I spit it out, but I got family sitting chain lace. Oh, you bout that action? Tell them boys you bout the same thing. Get your popcorn ready. Hat made half amazing. Human highlight reel. You gon' sing my name in Beijing. Every rep I take, you'll see the pain that made me. It's gritty on a gridiron. Only one of us can stay king. Touchdown every time I touch down, and my defense shut down every time I touch ground. Yeah, lying harder, but I got the eye of an eagle. I put the city on my back. Look, I'm gonna ride for my people, and once I take the stage, I'm stuck like Evil Knievel. I built to conquer heights. My mind's a Danny DeVito, and once I get my first ring, I'm manifesting the sequel. Yo, this the IFL. Swear to man, become heroes in the end. Are you ready for that? You ain't really about that. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? You ain't really about that. Are you ready for that?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to our first trip to Lowell, Massachusetts as we make our final descent. Ed, it's been a long flight into Lowell, Massachusetts, but we finally arrived at the arena, and we are getting ready for your Northern Arizona Wranglers squaring off today against the Massachusetts Pirates. Hard to believe it's our first trip out far northeast to battle the Massachusetts Pirates. Welcome in, my man.
Well, JP, I want to give credit to our director of communications, Tucker Welch, for that fantastic landing. Did you see that? I didn't know that Tucker Welch could actually fly a plane.
A man of many talents, Mr. Tucker Welch, put it smooth right on top of the arena right there for us. We're getting you ready for your Northern Arizona Wranglers battling those 5-2 Massachusetts Pirates. A little matinee football today for you folks, and the Wranglers trying to improve on their 4-3 record this season. And as I mentioned earlier, our first trip out to battle those Pirates, and our first game this season against an Eastern Conference opponent, Ed.
And it's one of the toughest Eastern Conference opponents. This is a team, Massachusetts, looking for their fourth straight victory at home. They've got 3 victories already so far. They're coming off a 3-game road trip, a tough loss last weekend in Iowa. So they're looking to get off the schneid. They're looking to buck that losing streak. They lost 2 of 3 on that road trip, so they are looking to extend their winning streak to 4-0 at home, courtesy of the Northern Arizona Wranglers.
Massachusetts, no joke this season. We mentioned the 5-2 record. They battled the Iowa Barnstormers last week, and it was a pretty good game.
It was. Massachusetts went up 28-12 at some point in the first half, and then I just continued to stay with their game plan, which is continue to play solid football, which they did. And at one point, JP, over the third and fourth quarter, they ran off 30 straight points on Massachusetts. This is one of the top defenses in the league, the overall top defense in the indoor football league, number 1 total defense that they scored 30 straight points on. So you've got to give credit. There's a deuce right there. They had 2 deuces right there from their fantastic job there on special team. For them to be able to rally back from down 16 and, again, run off 30 straight on one of the best teams in the indoor football league, that says a lot about Iowa. But just a tough loss for Massachusetts. We see Alejandro Benefield, what he does best other than throwing the football, which is using the football, using his legs to his greatest advantage, JP.
Coach Rod Miller, in his first season with the Massachusetts Pirates, he was formerly with the Bismarck Bucks before they shut down operations just a few short seasons ago. But he has really turned the page there in Massachusetts and has them on the winning track. 5-2 so far, and they are looking to stay undefeated at home this season against our Northern Arizona Wranglers this morning up there, or this afternoon. It should be on East Coast time there in Lowell, Massachusetts.
Yeah, Coach Miller's done a fantastic job, as you mentioned. Of course, he was the DC last year for Vegas, and you know how good their defense was last year. So he brought that championship defense kind of pedigree to Massachusetts. Again, they're number 1 in total defense, folks, number 2 in scoring defense, giving up 38 points per game. So this is a stingy defense that Northern Arizona is going up against this afternoon. So Josh Jones and his guys are going to have to be on full tilt today if they expect to get some points against a very good defense.
Talking about the Wranglers, they took on the Bay Area Panthers, hosting the defending IFL champs last weekend, and unfortunately lost that game by only 3 points up in Prescott Valley, but they left it all on the football field, and really a good performance for the Wranglers overall. Unfortunately, just not able to get that victory. A 3-point loss, 39-36 last week up at the FTC.
Yeah, that was a tough one, wasn't it, JP? Rob Keefe came in with his football team. Of course, the IFL national champions, you mentioned, the defending champions. You knew that they were going to come in and give NAZ their best effort, and they absolutely did. Shane Simpson was on fire. 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 receiving touchdowns from Daquan Neal. Daquan, 10 of 14, 117 yards, 3 touchdowns on his end. But Josh Jones was good as always, except for those 2 sacks that came late in the second half that really derailed, which could have been a really good drive, JP, because they had the ball first and goal on the 9-yard line, and those 2 sacks continued to back that offense back up. But still, Josh, 17 of 26, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. We'll see Axel Perez kick that field goal attempt right there. Axel has been so solid this year on special teams, hasn't he, JP?
He has been, as well as David Elder and a couple other Wranglers really showing out here in these last couple of weeks of the season. Kobe White and Gene Coleman coming into play on the Wranglers offense, and it's great to see these young men emerging into their roles for the Wranglers.
Oh, yeah, Kobe White led the team last week with receiving yards, 47 yards on 4 catches. Elder, you mentioned 7 catches to lead the team last week against Bay Area. He had 31 yards and a touchdown catch. Tosin Oyekanmi also had a touchdown. So we're seeing so many guys emerge in this offense, right, JP? And that's a good thing for them to have such depth on the offense, especially with wide receivers and David Elder back there running the ball and catching the football, and Josh Jones, of course, one of the leading rusher for the team. It's just so much offensive talent for Northern Arizona as we see Bay Area just continue. They pounded the football, pounded the rock against that defense.
Talking about the defense, they've got to really put the hammer down today against those Massachusetts Pirates. A young man named Ellison Jordan has been outstanding up front all season long. We hope to catch up with him next week before our game with the Tucson Sugar Skulls as we return home next Saturday night inside the Finley Toyota Center. But this defense, not too shabby as well this season. They got a lot of contributors as well on that side of the ball for the Wranglers.
Oh, absolutely. Got the fourth most INTs in the league with 7, the 3rd most sacks in the league with 11, the most fumbles they forced of any defense in the indoor football league. So all of those things today, JP and folks, are going to have to come into play if you expect to walk out of Lowell, Massachusetts 5-3 and you knock off the Massachusetts Pirates. It's not going to be an easy task, but Northern Arizona's up for the challenge.
They absolutely are. We'll take a brief commercial time out here on the countdown to kickoff and welcome you back as we continue to walk you up to your Northern Arizona Wranglers squaring off against the Massachusetts Pirates for the first time in Lowell, Massachusetts. Stay with us.
He's here. Anyone want a Coors Light? Light? Oh my.
Beautiful.
Oh, shoot, I forgot to play the song.
Thanks, LL Cool J.
I got a guy who can fix this.
We welcome you back to the Countdown to Kickoff here on the Northern Arizona Wranglers YouTube channel. We're getting you ready for your Wranglers squaring off against the Massachusetts Pirates. If you're Coach Les Moss, you took the team out on Thursday, took a red-eye flight out there, Ed, and landed sometime early Friday morning trying to get the team acclimated to the new time zone. Obviously, the East Coast 3 hours ahead of Arizona time currently, but this team should be locked in and ready to go for their first matinee contest of the regular season.
Oh, yeah, it was a great decision by Coach Moss to get them out there, as you mentioned, get on that bird, get that overnight flight, let the guys get some sleep, and get to the hotel. So I'm sure they landed in Boston. That's obviously the major hub in Massachusetts. So Boston is about 45 minutes from Lowell. So I'm sure they flew into Boston, got on the buses, took that 45-minute drive to the hotel. I'm sure there wasn't any traffic. They got there, in the wee hours of the morning, JP. So I'm sure they got to the hotel, got some sleep, got some rest. And as you mentioned, get acclimated to that long flight and just the travel from the West Coast to the East Coast. That's for folks, for all of you that have traveled that kind of country flight, you know how taxing that can be on the human body. So that was a great decision for Coach Moss to say, hey, let's get there a day early. Let these guys get their rest, get ready for a big game this afternoon.
We can only imagine they had a walkthrough yesterday afternoon on Friday to get the legs loosened up a little bit and maybe any last-minute game installations. Keys to the game here for you on the Countdown to Kickoff. My keys are get off to a fast start and get pressure on that offense for the Massachusetts Pirates. We talk about their weapons. They have a lot of them up there, and the Wranglers have to get off the schneid and get that defensive pressure early and often on the Pirates, and they don't want to be playing from behind today, Ed.
No, you want to see this kind of defense from Wallace Cowens and the entire Northern Arizona Wranglers defense. You see so much pressure from Tremont Lofton. These guys are going to have to be Ellison Jordan right there. These guys are going to have to be this relentless and this hardcore on defense against Alejandro Benefield because, again, this is one of the best offenses in the league. And if you let Benefield get loose, he'll slice you to pieces. So these guys, like right now in our first game against Arizona and so on and so forth, the defense is going to have to be this strong and this penetrable. They've got to get through the offensive line and do things like they're doing right now, like they did in week 1 against Arizona.
Credit to defensive coordinator David Moran. He's really got this defense staying in their lanes, playing really disciplined all season long, and they haven't really given up too many big plays if you think about it, Ed.
No. And like we said in their first segment, they've got to be able to force some fumbles. They've got to get them like that, a fumble attempt right there. You've got to be able to get to Benefield because if 15 does not get any pressure on him, like any other quarterback in the indoor football league, he will absolutely dice you to pieces. So the defensive front has got to get – there you go with Shannon Reed and just guys, Ellison Jordan, pressure. And on the back end, you've got to be solid like that. Travion Banks and Gervin Hall Jr., all those guys back there as well. That you've got to be able to play special defense back there in the secondary, JP.
Yes, indeed. The Wranglers leading the IFL currently in forced fumbles, so we'll hope that they continue that trend today. And we mentioned Axel Perez a little bit earlier. His ability to get that deuce and even the drop kick could pay dividends today for the Wranglers up there in Lowell, Massachusetts.
It really and special teams is one of my picks to click as well. You look at what Massachusetts has to offer with Jimmy Robinson. He's actually leads the league in all-purpose yards. And you go against him with RZ McCorker. I want to see what those guys can do on special teams on kickoff return. These are two of the best kickoff returners this league has to offer. So what can Robinson do for his team? What can RZ do for NAZ? Because we know he is a spark to football. I don't know. It depends on if they decide to kick to RZ or if they decide to just continue to kick away from him and just say, okay, we're just going to take the ball at the 20 or the 25-yard line instead of letting RZ have an attempt to beat us. And also, what does Coach Moss try to do against Jimmy Robinson? Again, one of the best kickoff returners in the league. Do you do the kick to him or do you just go ahead, kick it away from him and see what happens? Let the chips fall where they may.
A whole lot of strategy involved this season, especially with the new kickoff rules and so forth in the IFL. So we'll see what Coach Moss has up his sleeve for those Massachusetts Pirates today. We'll take another brief commercial timeout and get you ready as we're under 30 minutes away from kickoff between your Northern Arizona Wranglers and those Massachusetts Pirates. Stay with us. More Countdown to Kickoff coming up right after this.
Hi, I'm Dr. John Simon, founder and CEO of Simon Med and founder also of Simon One. I just wanted to talk to you briefly about the process for Simon One. It is super easy. You either call or chat online to schedule. When you arrive, you can just check in on your phone. The examination generally takes about 30 minutes. It can be as short as 15 minutes. Sometimes it's a little bit longer. It's non-invasive, no needles, no preps. When you're done with your exam, you can expect the results to be done in about 24 to 48 hours. You can expect a video chat to be set up to review your results within about a week. Super easy.
Every day, savings, energy efficiency, rebates. Every day, you have ways to save energy and money. Schedule a home energy checkup for savings recommendations tailored to your home. Find rebates on smart thermostats, appliances, and more at the APS Marketplace. Compare your rate plan options and switch to the plan that would have saved you the most money. Find ways to save at aps.com/brighter.
Choice but to lace up. Every day is game day. Off my third contract, you still on that same play. Pop spit it out, but I got family sitting chain links. Oh, you bout that action? Tell them boys you bout the same thing. Get your popcorn ready. Half made, half amazing. Cuban highlight reel. You gon' sing my name in Beijing. Every rep I take, you'll see the pain that made me. It's gritty on a gridiron. Only one of us can stay king. Touchdown every time I touch down, and my defense shut down every time I touch ground. Yeah, lying harder, but I got the eye of an eagle. I put the city on my back. Look, I'm gonna ride for my people, and once I take the stage, I'm stuck like Evil Knievel. I built to conquer heights. My mind's a Danny DeVito, and once I get my first ring, I'm manifesting the sequel. Yo, this the IFL. Swear the men become heroes in the end. Are you ready for that? You ain't really about that. Are you ready for that? Are you ready for that? You ain't really about that. Are you ready for that?
What a catchy tune there from Denim as we welcome you back here to the countdown to kickoff, getting you ready for your Northern Arizona Wranglers and those Massachusetts Pirates. Ed, I'd like to make a personal plea to Commissioner Todd Tryon to get Denim out there to Henderson, Nevada this August to have him perform that song live. How awesome would that be inside the Dollar Loan Center?
Well, if we know Todd Tryon, I'm sure he's already efforting that to have Denim either do it at the beginning, right before the game, which, as you mentioned, that would be so super cool to have him out there perform what is a absolutely phenomenal song. I love that track. I'm sitting bumping to it as it's. I wish you could see us on video because we're both like,
yes.
Yes.
You can't help but bob to that tune right there. It is super catchy. Great job there, and a great collaboration as well between the IFL and Denim. So final thoughts here as we get everyone ready to turn their attention over to the IFL Digital Network and today's broadcast of the Wranglers at the Pirates, Ed.
As you mentioned, start off fast. I noticed that Massachusetts are giving up the most penalty yards per game. So get them into penalty situations. Get them out of character. So they're giving up about 83 yards in penalties per game. So get them in penalty trouble. And as you mentioned, get on defense. Be aggressive on defense. Axel Perez, RZ Corker, all these guys on special teams have to be strong. And for me, this is absolutely a must win. You cannot lose this football game. You cannot lose 3 games in a row, especially when you're in the playoff hunt right now, JP. And every single game you have run out are Western Conference opponents, and they're all juggernauts. You've got Tucson next week at home. Go to Vegas, which is going to be tough because Vegas is undefeated. And you know that's going to be hard. Then you've got a bye week in between. Then you go to the Arizona Rattlers. We know it's going to be a tough thing, Glendale. You and I will be there for that game. I'm excited for that. Then San Antonio, San Diego, Bay Area. It just goes on and on. So I say all that to say this. You've got to get this today, Northern Arizona. Get on that bird and get back 5-3.
You know, Ed, you were absolutely right. This is essentially a must-win game for the Wranglers, especially considering all the parity throughout the IFL. It's going to come down to a game difference between getting in the playoffs and missing the playoffs as we inch closer to those playoffs, which start in a little over a month and a half, I believe. And it's going to be a tight race down the stretch here, but Northern Arizona has to get back on the winning track today. And I think if the offense is able to spread it out, use the weapons at Josh Jones's disposal, they should be able to come away with the victory today against the Massachusetts Pirates.
And another key is for the offensive line to allow JJ to get the ball to his wide receivers. Be strong against defense. Again, the number one defense in the indoor football league. You know they're going to put the pressure and bring the pressure on Josh Jones also all game long. But you know he's so strong back there in the pocket. He's so smart. He's only given up 3 interceptions, so he will not beat himself. So that's the key. Do not beat yourself, Josh Jones. When that pressure comes, find your wide receivers. If it does not work, you tuck and run like you've done all season long.
We appreciate you joining us here on the Countdown to Kickoff. We encourage you now to make your way over to the Indoor Football League's digital network. This game will also be available today on caffeine.tv. It's your Northern Arizona Wranglers squaring off against the Massachusetts Pirates for the first time in their home barn. And we look forward to an exciting contest today. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate your viewership and hope you enjoy the rest of today's action in the Indoor Football League. So long for now. We will see you next week up in Prescott Valley, Arizona, as we host the Tucson Sugar Skulls inside the Finley Toyota Center. Take care, everyone. And as we always say, Ed, go Wranglers.